Alright, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the David and Goliath podcast. Here, I'm your host, Cody, along with my co-host, Dalton, and we got three pretty solid topics we want to talk about here tonight. The first one, we'll just go ahead and get this one out of the way since we left it on kind of a cliffhanger last week, is the Modern Warfare 2 leaks. Have you seen anything about it, Dalton, other than what I told you?
I've been doing a little research. Yeah, and hello everybody. Hello to all the listeners out there. How's everybody doing tonight? Uh, I'm really excited. I was a MW2 guy, like that. That's my favorite Call of Duty.
Yep.
So I'm hyped. I'm hyped up for this.
It's gonna be even better when we get to see like some of the guns and stuff that are leaked. But like as of right now, with like the maps and all the things they're saying about it, it looks it looks really fun. Looks like it's gonna be really fun. Because you got like the maps that are coming back is you have rumored. This is all rumored, by the way. Nothing clear cut in stone. Is favela, high rise, quarry, and terminal was the four maps that I've been seeing all over. People are saying that is set in stone, supposed to come back whenever they decide to release all the information about it. Hopefully, we'll see that soon.
Yeah, I have so many good memories from that game.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many hours me and my friends spent playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, it was just like it was just so much fun to play because like there was so much stuff to do. You had so many titles to unlock, emblems. Obviously, they're not as big now. People don't really care about those, but back then that was a big thing. Like you go and see someone having like the let's just say like the ACR title with the golden ACR title. Like that man is really good with that gun, and you might need to watch out for it.
I just want there to be no uh, one man army. Don't please,
Yeah.
for the love of all that's holy, do not bring back one man army. If they just don't bring that, like keep that out. I mean,
Yeah.
they can't really go wrong with MW2 as far as the game, man. I'm a fan personally of the simpler Call of Duty days
Oh
when it
yeah.
was just
Big time.
whoever had the best aim won. It's not about being cracked out of your mind, movement, uh, slide canceling, bunny hopping around corners, and all
Snaking
that
on,
nonsense.
snaking around corners, snaking over head glitches. It's
Right.
just such a different game now, such a different style, and like I know I haven't heard anything about One Man Army, but one perk that I have heard that is making a return is Last Stand. That is one of the rumored perks to be coming back. And what are your
Uh,
thoughts about that?
well, I thought that Last Stand was pretty useless, honestly. In Call of Duty, I never ran Last Stand.
I didn't either. I
So I
remember
mean, I
you see a lot of people do it. Well, I at least in search, I've seen a lot of people run it, and they would run like either the Magnum, the 44 Mag, or the Desert Eagle because it two shots you. And if you're right on top of someone, you put them in Last Stand. I mean,
yeah,
they could,
you
yeah,
get a free kill basically. Yeah, I
yeah,
get that. As far as what you're coming from the like the competitive standpoint of it, and I'm
yeah,
more of a you know
yeah. We don't use any of that in competitive. That's a no no. Even then, it wouldn't really give you an advantage because either way, you're dying in Last Stand. You're not able to get revived. You're not like I mean, it's more of a thorn in your side than anything, honestly. Like in Search, say you're rushing with a UMP or something, and you run up and you gun the dude, and he's like literally at your feet, and then he just two shots you with the Desert Eagle. You're traded instead of getting a free kill there. I mean that's just like the thorn part of it, like it's a thorn in your side.
right, right.
And
I could definitely see how that could be frustrating,
oh yeah,
especially for someone like you, like the
run and gun.
competitive community, uh, in particular in search where you only get one life.
Oh
You
yeah.
die, that's it.
Yep.
So if you beat a man in a gunfight and you just happen to be close on him, and
Yeah.
he's packing a Deagle or a Magnum, and he just pop pop, and then yeah, I could see where that could be frustrating.
Oh yeah. It would be. It'd be very very frustrating. And I mean, even in competitive search is played way different than casuals. Way different. People play their life more. People play like I wouldn't say like ratty, because I mean it's not really it's strategical, not really ratty. I guess you could say, like there's a lot more strategy involved, and like it's basically like you're setting up a play, and you're trying to execute on that play. That's what it is. So you would usually play for information. Then if you seem like say you it was 3v3, say you seen two of them at the A bomb site, well you know either the third one's gonna be close around them, or he's gonna be solo holding B, and you could just 3-man that and hopefully trade him out and get the bomb down for free. Where in 6v6 search, usually people just running around like a chicken with their head cut off and just kill horn.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I have friends who play, including you, play competitive, and that from the way you guys talk, it's just all about being tactical.
Oh yeah.
Uh, you know, like you said, you're not running and gunning in the competitive scene because somebody's going to be holding an angle, and you're just going
Mm-hmm.
to run out there and die.
Yep. Big time. About the uh, about the leaks, one of the leakers I seen happened to put out a possible timeline for when we will see more information released, and it's usually about the same time every year. Usually around March and April and stuff like that, we get a lot of leaks coming out. So they're right now saying May 30th is the projected time when we are going to see Activision and them actually start saying things about the game and like what it's gonna be like. And we already know it's already a sequel to Modern Warfare 2019, which,
Right.
in my opinion, was a good game. I mean, I liked it.
I agree. I enjoyed it as well.
And like you were saying earlier about the tactical movement and stuff. Apparently now, from what I've been seeing, there's no sliding, there's no dolphin diving, there's none of that, no advanced movement whatsoever. So that's a plus. I mean, for me, like we go back and play Modern Warfare Remastered on PlayStation 5, and I look stupid because I'm used to the tactical movement, sliding around corners, cameraing people, and I get on there and it's just like nade, 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 and I'm just like, well, what am I gonna do about that? I get naded across the map.
Grenades or
Yeah.
pocket nukes on that game,
Oh yeah.
most definitely.
And
Uh,
I hope they have some sort of like trophy system. Surely they will. Surely they will. Or like
you,
at least what's it called? Flak jacket at least.
do you think there's going to be backlash though if they do get rid of all this uh, tactical movement? Because
Mm,
it's been in the game for a while now, and I think a lot of people were fans of it, and them just taking that away.
I don't think
You
it's
think,
gonna be, man. I don't think it's gonna be as backlash as when they added jetpacks. That was a
oh,
very big backlash.
that was just a mistake. That was a
Eh,
terrible mistake.
it was a 2 year thing where they tried it. Well, no, they did it in Black Ops 3, didn't they? It worked in Black Ops 3 though. But Infinite Warfare and um, Advanced Warfare, which I was a fan of Advanced Warfare. I like playing it. That was my first game where I kind of really stuck out the competitive side of it because a lot of my friends really enjoyed the game and they're like, hey, let's do some game battles and run some CMG tournaments or Checkmate Gaming for people that don't know what that is. They were like, oh, let's run some tourneys and let's do stuff like that. And I was like, I mean, I'll give it a try. And that's kind of what Advanced Warfare was the first game that kind of made me fall in love with competitive and seeing the different side of how to play Call of Duty. Like there's ways to play it, there's right ways to play it, and there's definitely wrong ways to play it. And it kind of going back to that because I'm gonna try to play competitive on Modern Warfare 2. Obviously, like I'm gonna try it, give it a try at least. So I'm gonna have to retune my brain into going back to that hopefully go back to that Modern Warfare status to where, honestly, holding a head glitch is going to be very viable in those because you ain't going to have to worry about a guy shooting 100 foot over your head or cameraing you by sliding you around you in your back. So, I mean, it could work. I think it's going to be a really solid, hopefully, really solid game. No, not getting my hopes up or anything. You know, I've got my hopes up the past 4 years, and, you know, it's,
Right.
yeah, it's not been good.
Like I said earlier, personally, I'm a fan of the simpler times of Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I had the most fun. The older games. That's what I enjoy. I'm a competitive guy, you know that.
Yeah.
But as far as the first person shooters, that's just not my cup of tea. So if it was to go back to, it's all about who's got the better aim.
Yeah.
I think that I will benefit from that.
I think I will too, honestly. Because, like, I play ranked and stuff in Vanguard and stuff now. And, like, back when I played competitive and I did, like, the tournaments and stuff like that, I mainly ran a submachine gun, which benefited my style of running, gunning, sliding around corners, like, stuff like that. And on Vanguard, I kind of slowed my pace down because I kind of had a feeling where Call of Duty was going with it since they were going back to, like, the Vanguard, Modern Warfare, even Cold War was kind of like, yeah, you could slide around corners, but if some dude's holding that angle with an AR, you're gonna die 8 out of 10 times. I mean, you might get him twice, but you know, like, and I like that direction, which it'll push me more to being an assault rifle player than a running gun submachine gun player. And obviously, I'm older now. I'm like 24, so my reaction time and my movement and stuff is not what it used to be. But you know.
You know, speaking on that, what do you think about that? About the fact that people in just a few years' time can lose so much reaction time, or at least it seems that way with these competitive players and Call of Duty in particular.
I like coming. I watch competitive COD every week, every time it's on. I watch it, and I see a lot of the newer players shine. You see all these rookies coming in, and they're just dominating just because they're cracked. Like they're cracked. They're good. They can shoot straight, slide. Some of the angles, what people don't know is a lot of like the competitive players that are playing, like the rookies that are coming in now, are turning 18 or they're 19, and they were search and destroy players, search and destroy bracket players back when they were 14, 15 years old. So they know the game inside out. And I think you can take more information in when you're younger and use it better than when you're older, as in a sense. Like I think you can retain more information. Whether you use it is up to you and up to your ego. So you know, I don't necessarily think there's a big difference, but sometimes when you see them, like some of the older players that are in the league now, sometimes you can see it, but sometimes there's still people that are like 26, 27, and they're up at the top of the rankings for kills, KD, like stuff like that, and it's like there's 18, 19-year-olds right behind them that are just itching for them to just, you know, lose just a little bit more, and they'll be there, and then they'll just go past them. Because in gaming, you don't know your prime. You really don't know. Everyone says, oh, it's 18, 19 when you're young. I've seen players in like 23, 24 that just hit their prime, and they just take off from there. It doesn't last as long, no, but when they hit it, and they hit it running.
Well, see, the reason I ask is because I watch Marksman. I don't know if you're familiar with
Oh yeah,
him as a content creator.
oh yeah, I watch
The
him.
dude's a savage
Oh, he's a search and
on
destroy
Call of
god.
Duty.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a
And
great
how
gun.
old's Marksman? He's like he's in his 30s, like
Close
mid
to it.
30s.
Yeah, he's yeah. I think so.
I'm pretty sure he's in his mid 30s. Let me double check.
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure.
I've watched him, and he used to be a kind of competitive player, but he just kind of fell in love with that style of play. I'm pretty sure he said this in a video. I was watching about it because it was like a Q&A he did, and he was talking about how he was a competitive player at one point. He would do like the search and destroy tourneys, and it shows when he plays pubs. It really does. You can just tell there's a different player there, and just a different
He is
brain.
he is 30 years old.
Okay, so and he's still frying people. So that just goes to show you, you could still fry at 30 years old. I see people like Optic Hex. I'm a big Optic fan, love Optic, and Hex in they call them the old men of Optic, which are like the originals that played. They're in their 40s, and they're still out there slaying in like Warzone. They'll hop on, do like game battles and stuff like that, and they still fry. So I think it's more of knowing the game. Yeah, your reaction time and your stuff like that helps, but if you just outsmart the opponent, you're 9 times out of 10 you're gonna win. And that's all Search and Destroy is. It's a game of chess.
I agree. From everything that I've watched, of course, I don't play competitive search, but that's what we usually play.
Yeah.
Me and my friends, when we are playing, we play Search and Destroy.
Yep.
That's what we like to do. But as far as the competitive scene, yeah, I agree. What I've seen, uh, these older guys, it's all about who's got it, who
Mm-hmm.
understands the map layout, who has the best strategy,
Yep.
and when it comes down to it, who's got the best aim and search and destroy anyway. Movement is important. Don't get me wrong. It's about holding those lanes, you know.
Yeah.
So
All the time. And that's the thing. Going back to like maps and stuff like that, people miss the 3-lane maps where you could hold
yes,
3 angles,
very
hold
much.
3 lanes. Usually when we played search, when we played fours, we would use on the 3-lane maps. We would hold all 3 lanes, and we would have a floater that would run around towards the middle of the map just to make sure they never crossed to our side of the map. Usually, if we were on defense, or they would cross to a bomb or something like that, and then we could collapse on them. That's how we
Right.
played those styles of maps. Now these maps
But it
today are
makes sense.
different.
They're
Way.
wide open.
Yes,
They're
they're
wide open.
wide
So
open.
many angles.
Oh yeah.
So many lanes.
I was watching the other day. I was watching the Optic Major, and I seen an angle on there that I've played Vanguard since it came out, and Shatsu, who's a player for Optic, was up at a thing we called Top Fire on Berlin, and there's a little wall, and it has like paneling on it. And from that angle, he knew that if a guy planted the bomb in a certain spot, he could wall bang it and kill him. And one of his teammates was sitting inside there and called out that he was on the bomb planting in that spot, and he wall banged him from up there. And even the casters had never seen that spot before. So that just goes to show the time that they put in. Yeah, the time that they put in to find these spots, too. That's
right.
also a thing.
We're talking about going into a private match and just looking
for hours.
Just learning the map inside and out.
It's for hours too. We used to do it for hours. We'd go into private matches and we'd look for spots where we could throw grenades to where they would land if someone was sitting in a certain corner, or like just any little advantage we could find, we would find it, or we would try to find it at least. And if someone used it against us in a match, after that we would go in the private match and we would go and learn how they did it, how they got there that fast, and how fast you need to get there before the opposing opponent gets to the spot where you shot him at. Like it's a whole different ball game.
Grenades are definitely not as powerful as they used to be in Call of Duty.
No.
Man, oh man, like I said earlier, pocket nukes.
Oh yeah.
Chuck one frag across the map in the right spot. You get a popcorn.
Yep.
Get a popcorn. Get 3 or 4 of them dudes right out the gate. Beginning of the match.
Besides now, stun grenades do 20 damage, and that blows my mind. I've never heard of stun grenades doing damage. Yeah, they do 20 damage, and I'm like, so if I get someone one shot, I just lob a stun at them and know they're like 1 health, and I just challenge them.
On Vanguard? They do that?
Yes, on Vanguard it is a thing.
I didn't even realize that.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's so weird. The little things that people don't realize is just it's so crazy. We're gonna.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to class before we switch it up? What's your go-to class?
Oh man,
MW2. Old school. We're talking
Modern
the
Modern
original.
Warfare 2. UMP 45 silenced M9 tack knife. Marathon Pro, Lightweight Pro. If I want to be sneaky, Ninja Pro. If I want to just go loud and proud, Commando Pro. Normally. What's yours?
Mine pretty similar. ACR with the silencer.
Yep.
I would use the USP 45 with the tack knife and the silencer.
Hmm.
And the perks would be the same.
Yeah.
Except I always ran Ninja because I never want to be hurt.
Big question. Do you think they'll bring back pro versions of the perks?
I hope so.
I would like to
Because
see it.
it gives another dynamic, you
Yeah.
know? Like
Oh yeah, big time. Just think of
I think that'd be great.
what was it, Commando? Whenever it was a thing, if you had regular Commando, all you did was lunge farther. If you had Commando Pro, you didn't take fall damage.
Right.
That's
So it
a
adds
big
another
difference.
aspect.
Yeah, that's
It gives you a reason. It gives you reasons to run different perks so that you can unlock something else within that perk.
exactly. Sleight of hand pro. Sleight of hand pro gave you
Yeah.
faster ADS time,
Yep.
and the regular version just reloaded faster. But I guess
So
they're
yes,
I guess
I
they're
would
kind
definitely
of
like to do that. Back.
I guess they're kind of taking that back because they have attachments to do that kind of stuff now. Obviously not. Don't take fall damage. I mean that's never gonna be a thing again. But
Right.
Now they have attachments that help you aim down sight faster. You got seven different underbarrel attachments that you could use, grips or whatever you could use on Vanguard.
Yeah, the amount of attachments on this latest Call of Duty on Vanguard is just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm a gun enthusiast, so I think it's awesome that they went that route with
Oh,
the
yeah.
realism, all the attachments put on a weapon. That's great.
And they all have
But
their pros and cons too.
exactly. Some people I think probably feel like that might be a little too much
Yeah.
for a video game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah. I don't think it's too much because I've also played Escape from Tarkov on PC to where there's so many more things you could do on that than
that's
ever.
that's
in
super
Vanguard.
realistic. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's about as realistic as you can get as
Oh
far
yeah.
as the game. Like, it's like a simulation of real life.
Yeah. It's insane. I don't think Call of Duty will ever get that far to where it's like that many attachments. I would like to see them
No,
dumb it down a
probably
little
not.
bit.
So if let's say they do bring back pro perks, how do you think that would mix with all these attachments if they go that route again
and
with
keep all
all
the
these
attachments.
different attachments? Yeah.
I don't really think it would make that much of a difference, honestly. But I think they would probably make you use attachments to get them unlocked. Because I know for certain camos in Vanguard, you have to use certain attachments on weapons to get camos, which I'm not a fan of. But I mean, it's whatever. I don't really care about camos anyway. So
Same. Yeah, I never did care about camos either.
unless it was Modern Warfare 2 we're talking. I mean, I want fall camo on every weapon. So,
Right. That's a little different.
Yeah.
Those are the glory days.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's segue into topic number 2. This is your topic. You lead us off on this one.
All right. So Eddie Hall versus Hafthor Bjornsson, the heaviest boxing match in the history of the world, just happened. I did not get to watch the fight live, but I did watch the fight, and let me tell you, I was very, very impressed how well that match went on both sides. I was rooting for Eddie. I'm an Eddie Hall fan. I like Thor too because I'm a strongman guy. I love that sport. And ever since this little rivalry between them has become a thing, uh, and they've been training, I've been very excited to see them get in the ring because they've both been taking it very serious. They trained for 2 years for this fight. You don't hear of like people from other sports training for 2 years for a rivalry match. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah.
they were taking this very serious. And unfortunately, Eddie Hall lost to a decision. It was a very close decision, but Eddie Hall lost. Thor won the fight, and he won his Titan belt. That was the belt they created for that boxing match. Heaviest match in history. But it
That
was a great fight.
that is really crazy. It's like I've never been like a really big fan of boxing. I mean, I've seen like the creators, like the YouTubers versus TikTokers, and like those boxing matches, those
Those are
exhibitions and stuff like
those are
that.
trash. Those are
And
trash.
and like to see so many people, like, well, not just that, just like them, like the creators, then now the strongmen coming into boxing. It's just it
It,
blows my mind.
they're revitalizing boxing. They're rejuvenating the sport of
Oh yeah,
boxing. They're
oh
putting
yeah.
its name in people's brains and in their mouths. People were talking about it, and I love it because I'm a huge fan of boxing. I think it's great.
I'm a MMA fan myself, but I respect boxing because in the end of the day, it's a combat sport, and a lot of training and a lot of like time is put into it, and it's a craft that is very hard to perfect. I think it's besides like jujitsu and like stuff like that. I think it's one of the hardest to to get down pat.
A lot of hand-eye coordination.
Oh yeah, a lot.
It's not always about power. Yes, power is good, and these two guys definitely showcased that in that fight.
Oh yeah,
That
big time.
what power actually is, because I don't care who you put in that ring, which heavyweight boxer. It could even be Mike Tyson. They they're not. Nobody's going to be able to throw punches like these two gentlemen that we watched in this ring.
Oh yeah, and especially since I practiced the punches. Like there's a difference between throwing a punch and throwing a punch
They,
correctly.
yeah, they were trained how to
Yeah,
throw a punch. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that definitely does make a difference.
Big time
And
difference.
you take a skilled uh, punch from a basically 300-pound strongman. I mean, what do you think that's going to feel like?
Oh yeah, it ain't gonna feel good. Trust me. It's it's crazy to see like it was it was sold out, wasn't it? The fight was sold out.
Yes, yes, it was sold
To
out.
see that again, like seeing that in boxing, like I don't remember the last time a professional boxing fight was sold out, which I've not been in the scene, so I'm not 100% sure on it. But it looks to me like they're getting eyes obviously back on boxing, and that's good for the sport, and that's good for them. And they wanted it. Obviously, they wanted this match to happen.
Right.
So it's cool to see it. It really is. It's really cool to see them revitalizing a sport that honestly hasn't been like at the top of what it could have been. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? What it could have
It
been.
hasn't it hasn't been the most popular combat sport in quite some time. The UFC definitely holds that title, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk to anybody about fighting, they want to talk about MMA. They want to talk about the UFC, which I'm a fan of MMA as well. Don't get me wrong, especially the wrestling aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ground and pound. I think that that's where it's at.
Oh yeah.
I was a huge Cain Velasquez fan.
Mm-hmm.
He just recently got locked up. I hate to hear that.
I'm no.
Like that
Did you
dude a
see the
lot.
full story on that? He
I did not.
that guy deserved what he got. What he had. He molested his 4-year-old daughter multiple times, over 100.
Oh,
They say allegedly over 100 times. Yeah, that's
Cain.
that.
This girl was related. This little girl was related to Cain
It
Velasquez.
was Kane's daughter.
Oh man. Oh come on, man.
Yeah,
You gotta be. If you're gonna,
I was.
number one, don't be a sick piece of trash.
Yeah.
Number two,
Oh yeah.
if you're gonna be a sick piece of trash, why in the world would you pick the daughter of Cain Velasquez,
Exactly.
UFC, you a former UFC heavyweight champion? Like he's not gonna beat you into the ground.
Oh, I seen Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan said he wished he would have done it differently. He wished he would have used his hands and beat the guy to death. That's what he said. That was what came out of Joe Rogan on his podcast, and I agree. I mean, would I say don't shoot at the guy. No, I'm not saying that. But that dude deserved everything he got, and he should have got more. But I mean, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, I really hated to hear that.
Oh yeah, it's
Hopefully,
sad.
everything works out in Kane's favor.
It should. Hopefully it does, because someone like that guy just doesn't deserve to be on the streets, whether it be dead or in jail. That sick piece of trash doesn't need to be there. He's just no. That's wrong in every way, shape, and form. I don't care how you think about it. I don't care what you believe. That's wrong.
I agree 100%. Don't mess with children.
Nope.
You don't mess with the kids. Don't mess with kids.
It just
But back to the fight.
yeah
Thor was the favorite, and
yeah
Thor ended up winning. And the reason I think that Thor ended up winning the score on the scorecards, the judges, they scored it 57-54 in Thor's favor. And I believe it was because of his reach
yeah
and the amount of hits that he landed in that fight.
mhm
Because they both knocked each other down multiple times.
yeah.
Because they're both powerhouses, obviously.
You get hit by that, you're gonna go down regardless. I mean, even if you're the same size as the man.
Right. Half Thor definitely has the reach advantage. The man is 6'8", 6'9",
Yeah, he's big.
so
He's a big old boy.
basically 7 feet tall. He definitely had a huge reach advantage on Eddie because Eddie's only like 6'3", which is still a big dude.
Mhm.
But Thor came in with the advantage. He was the favorite, and he ended up taking the victory. My hat goes off to both of those guys. I would like to see them fight again.
That's what I was
Hopefully,
gonna
they
ask.
have a rematch.
That's what I was
They
gonna
brought
ask.
it up.
Yep.
They brought that up.
Mhm.
Thor said that he would be down for a rematch, and I believe Eddie said the same. So hopefully, we see these two behemoths get into the ring again,
Do you think
and
it's gonna
hopefully,
be as long again, like another 2 year wait for this, or?
no, I believe they're in such good fighting shape now that it wouldn't take nearly as long to set up another fight between the two.
Yeah,
I
obviously it's
believe they'll both.
recovering.
Right,
Yeah.
right. They need to recover, but I believe from the way both of them spoke that boxing is like they're they're taking boxing serious. Like they want to continue with their training. They
Mhm.
I think they want to fight more people. Like
But
they want to continue this.
like that with like the YouTuber boxing and stuff too. A lot of the YouTubers that do it say that after that they enjoyed it, and a lot of them have continued to pursue into that. Like, I mean, I've never like when I was younger, I obviously trained like mixed martial arts and stuff, but I'd never actually got to get in the ring and like box. Obviously, I sparred, but that's a whole different game. You had headgear, you had like shorter rounds, like stuff like that. But like for them to say that it's fun and they would keep doing it, it's really. I mean, it's a good thing for boxing too, because if they
Yes,
want to do it,
I
the
agree.
people that's watching them would be like, hey, maybe I want to try to get into it, and you be good at it, and then there's more boxers that get to go into the scene and try it at least.
Unfortunately, we don't have a boxing gym here where we live. I wish we did because I would definitely join and I would love to train in boxing and learn how to box. I think I have a good build for it.
Oh yeah, for
Not
sure.
even necessarily like actually get in a ring and like fight, like do a like an amateur fight or anything like that. I
Yeah,
just like to train,
just
just
like to learn.
train and learn how to box. Yeah,
Mhm. Oh yeah, it would be cool. Like to have more stuff like that around here would be really cool because obviously we got we have an MMA facility. I don't really even call it a facility, but we have trainers and stuff down here that do train for that. But like I think the closest actual boxing one would probably be like 45 minutes away. I think it is. Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because like seeing all that stuff and it got me really hyped. Like I kind of like it, and I mean like I'm a shorter kind of guy. Like I'm short, probably 160 now. Like I would, I would try it. I would like to get in the ring for an amateur fight. If you give me like a year or two to train and get into shape to do it, I would step into the ring. I wouldn't care. I mean, what do I got to lose? I could say I'd done it.
That's very true.
I mean, I go in there and I lose. Oh well, maybe I like it. Maybe I want to keep going. It would be fun. It would be something unique to try.
Maybe one of these days we'll
Maybe.
get something like that here. Like our town continues to grow.
Oh yeah. There's a
Who
lot of new
knows?
things coming in that we would never expect that they would come in.
Right.
We're gonna segue onto our third topic, or do you got any more to add about this Eddie Hall fight?
I'll just end with hopefully there is a rematch again. Like I said, I want to see Eddie win because I love Eddie Hall. I have a lot of respect for that man. He's motivational to me.
Mm-hmm.
He motivates me. Just his whole outlook on life and his demeanor, the way he carries himself, the fact that he's one of the strongest men to walk this planet.
That is very true.
I would like to see him face the mountain again and conquer the mountain because he's the beast. That's what he does. So I
Mm-hmm.
hope there's a rematch, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, before we get off this, do you think did they have undercards on this? Like any matches before them?
I don't believe so. I believe this was it.
So it was just a. Do you think that they could convince other people in their sport to come in as an undercard?
Maybe.
That'd be pretty neat. You have just like a whole strongman kind of card like that.
I'll tell you that if they did, uh, there's one person in particular that I think would be very scary in a boxing ring. And that is Brian Shaw.
Oh yeah, I've seen that man. He's he's scary.
He's basically the same size as Thor Bjornsson.
Yeah,
Obviously, he's American. He's from Colorado.
yeah.
And he's also won the world's strongest man 4 times.
Mhm.
Thor's only won it twice. This guy's won it 4 times, if that tells you anything.
That's man. Just hearing that, that's it. That's really impressive.
People are impressed by Thor Bjornsson, but people forget about Brian Shaw. That man is a giant as well. And he's also one of the greatest strongmen of all time. He might be the greatest. In my opinion, he is. A lot of people, this is getting off topic of the fight, but a lot of people talk about Zildjiris, Zilvikas, Big
Mhm.
Z
Oh, big yeah.
as being the greatest because he's won. I think he's won it 4 times as well. So
You just imagine some people like that being like, hey, I'll I'll train for a couple months, you know.
I
Don't
would definitely not want to take a blow from any of those guys,
no.
whether they're trained or not. I don't
Yeah.
want to get hit by any of those guys.
Man, you just think of like just think about the punches, like the velocity of those punches, and if you don't block, like say they go for like a body shot, like on your ribs, exposed ribs,
They'll
just
break it.
yeah. If you don't block
You
it,
won't have any room.
I mean, obviously those guys don't just work on their strength; they work on their core and everything. So they would be able to take a shot like that, but
Right.
repeated shots like that, I don't know if you could. I don't know. And also, if you hit body shots, I mean that will drain stamina, and those guys are bigger guys, so obviously they got the stamina. But I mean, you know,
I will say that Eddie and Thor both lost quite a bit of weight getting ready for this fight, especially Thor.
yeah.
If you look at pictures of Thor from 2 years ago, like before he started the training,
And now,
I mean, it's like daylight dark. It's incredible. Now Eddie, he lost some weight, but he kept a lot of his muscle mass,
mm-hmm,
and I think that he thought that he needed to do that to fight Thor because of the
yeah,
size
yeah,
disadvantage.
which you probably did.
True, and he did knock Thor off his feet, which no one had ever done before. None of the people he ever sparred with, none of the boxing matches, the amateur matches he had before that point, no one had ever come close to knocking that man off his feet. And Eddie Hall knocked him off his feet twice.
That's impressive. That is impressive in itself.
I agree.
All right, so we'll head on to our third topic of tonight. We got the NCAA bracket and the old St. Peter's Peacocks beating the Kentucky Wildcats. Because I know he wanted me to talk about this and hear my opinions on it. So what do you want to know? What do you want to hear?
Well, I can hear the salt. I can hear the salt Cody is experiencing right now, and I get it.
Oh yeah.
I do. So I want you to tell me what the University of Kentucky should have done differently in that game.
What? Mm, there was a couple things, especially down the stretch. When you're up like 8 with 6 minutes to go, you have to close that game out. You should not let it go to overtime. Don't give them another chance. You got to step on their throat while you have them down, and they just didn't. They let them come back. Once they started coming back, they started hitting shots, and I think when that happened, even though this team was full of juniors and one freshman, and the people that had played had been there before. Kellen Grady was on Rutgers when they made it, and I don't know if Sheba in West Virginia made it. I don't I don't think so. But anyway, he's a junior. He knew what to do basically, and he did. He went off. I'll give it props to Sheba. He played his heart out, and I love the man. I respect him. He's a really talented basketball player, and he did all he could. Honestly, he was trying to drag him to the finish line, and it didn't end that way. But what they did wrong was they once St. Peter started coming back, they were getting the threes, and Kentucky has not just this year throughout God 10 years has never really been good at guarding the 1-5 backdoor or the just pick and pop. They normally go under screens, let them shoot, and with a team like that was on fire, that had made 62% of threes that game, you have to go over and fight over that screen no matter what, and they just wasn't doing it there at the end of the game. And Xavier Wheeler, who is a 5'9" point guard. I'm not a fan of 5'9" point guards. I'm not a fan of short. I like 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" point guards because they got the length and they got they can just, even if that dude does get a screen and you are caught under it, at least you have the reach to try to reach and guard the shot. With Wheeler, he's short but he's fast, but you're not fast enough to get around a pick and contest like you should, basically. And I think they just, once they started coming back, they just all of them gave up except for Oscar. I really do, and I hate to see it from such a talented team, such a good team that had the potential to go far. They couldn't. But I mean, you can't really take anything away from St. Peter's either, because everyone thought, oh well, they beat Kentucky. Luckily, they're gonna get rolled by Murray State in the second round, and they didn't. Murray State did not have a lead that whole game. That whole game, St. Peter's was in the lead, and they closed it out. So you seeing a Cinderella story in the making. I mean, if they make it past this, it's gonna be a 15 seed in the Elite Eight. And I got respect for it. I mean, I respect them. I went in thinking that they're a 15 seed, and you can't go in thinking that, they're just some 15 seed that's lucky to be here, because I mean that's not the case. Last year had Oral Roberts go to the Sweet 16 as a 15 seed. You had the year before that, or a couple years before that, it was Florida Gulf Coast. No, it was the year before that. Yeah. Florida Gulf Coast win as a 15 seed. Like, you can't underestimate it, man. And like going in, Kentucky, I always thought they've had the problem with thinking we just got more talent than these guys. We're just gonna blow through them. And they seen, they're playing a 15 seed. Who's this? That kind of stuff. And you can't do that in the NCAA tournament. I don't care what the number is beside their name. You can't look at that. You can't, or their record. It's 0-0. When that game starts, it's 0-0. Your records are shot. That game matters, and they just didn't play with heart. I mean, some of them did. Some of them were having off nights, and that happens. but I think in the end they just played without. They didn't have the killer mentality to finish them when they had them down, and they let them come back and claw back and tie the game up.
So you were watching the game live, correct?
I was watching the game live when it happened.
I did not watch the game live, but I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this box score.
Yep.
The Peacocks shot 52.9% from three,
Mm-hmm.
50.9% from the field, and 85% from the free throw. They hit their shots.
Yeah, they did. They just straight up hit their shots. And
Now I want you to listen to Kentucky's. All right, the 3-point percentage for the Kentucky Wildcats in that game. Do you know what it was?
it's probably 32%, something like that.
26.7%.
That was worse than I thought.
From the field, they were shooting 42.6%, and from the free throw line, they shot a terrible 65.7%.
And they had more free throws than St. Peter's too. Don't let that go unsaid. They got the opportunities.
Yes, they went to the line 35, or they shot 35 free throws.
Yeah.
So, and the Peacocks shot 21.
Yeah. That's
I'm looking at
crazy.
the individual stats here. You were right about Oscar.
Yeah.
He played his heart out. He had
did.
30 points, 16 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
6 of those boards were offensive. So he was giving it everything he had. He shot 11 for 16 from the field.
Mm-hmm.
He was killing it.
He was.
8 for 12 from the free throw line.
Exactly.
They should have kept feeding him the ball, because then when you go down, you look. Washington Jr. shot 2 for 10 from the field, and he had 5 points. They shouldn't have been giving him the ball. They should have subbed him out. If he wasn't feeling it, take him out.
Well, they tried.
Give somebody else a
and they
chance.
put Mintz in, and Mintz didn't do much better. He went 3 for 7.
He
had
did
8
go
points.
3 for 7.
And look at Kellen Grady. Kellen Grady shot 1 for 7 from 3. One of the greatest shooters in Rutgers history. Went 1 for 7 when it mattered. He just didn't show up. And I like the kid. Yeah, exactly. I like the kid. I thought he was good all year. I mean, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he's a bad player. He had a bad game, but the bad game just happened to be when it mattered. And besides Oscar, they didn't have very much of anything. Like it just I don't know. Lance Ware didn't get as much play time as I wish he did. I wish he would have played Lance Ware more. I wasn't a big fan of Lance early on in the season because I didn't think he played with heart, and I didn't think he played like he wanted to be there. Like I don't do that back. He didn't play with heart, which made me think he wasn't ready to play there. Like he wasn't ready. But by the end of the season, he showed that, hey, I'm a good second option. You know, not like second option, but like another big that can come in if like Brooks or if like Toppin wasn't playing good, which Toppin didn't play bad. Toppin he went 100% from the field, 3 for 3, 3 for 4 from the free throw line. So he had 9 points, which he contributed. But again, he only played 16 minutes. Lance Ware played 2 minutes and missed 1 shot and didn't play the rest of the game. Like that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
I think what we saw in that matchup there was a lack of team defense from the Kentucky Wildcats, because you can't let a team shoot 52% from the 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to win that game.
Nope.
If you let a team shoot 50% from the 3-point line. 9 for 17 they shot, the Peacocks.
Yep. And it's crazy because the next game you look at that St. Peter's played. They played against Murray State, which is another powerhouse team from Kentucky. And they shot 42% from the field, 23% from the 3. and 74% from the free throw line, and they still ran Murray State out of the building. Like, it just, and they out-rebounded them. Like, they out-rebounded them by 8. Like, it just, it goes to show that you can't underestimate anyone. And I think Murray State had an off night, but still, that doesn't take away from St. Peter's. Honestly, they had an off night if you look at what they did at Kentucky. You could say that was a great night. You could say that was average, but I mean, they had an
Their
off night
leading
against
scorer,
SPU or against Murray.
Daryl Banks, that guy that scored 27 against Kentucky, only had
6.
6.
Yep.
He had 6 points.
He was 1 for 7. But his team stepped up when they needed him, when he needed them to, and they did. They were also deeper. I mean, they played a whole lot deeper than Kentucky did, which Kentucky's I wouldn't say in the recent years they've had problem with depth. I think their big thing is free throws. That's their biggest problem is definitely free throws. That's one thing that I've harped for years that they need to work on. And like obviously 3-point shooting, which Cal's not big on 3-point shooting as much as a lot of other teams are. He's more of you got a big that's dominant, use him, and he did. He used Oscar great. Like he used him how he was supposed to be used. But what happens when that doesn't work? And that's what you've seen with those 6 minutes left. They honed in on Oscar, and I mean there was nothing else that Kentucky could do because everyone else was cold.
You got to play defense as a team.
Yep.
Especially in college ball, you have to play team defense. If you don't got good team defense, you ain't gonna make it through the tournament.
The big thing about it is you got to trust your teammates.
Yes, but not only that, and this is gonna lead on to the next part of this topic.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a coach that knows how to play team defense, and I don't think Calipari knows how to play team defense. What do you say to that?
Well, I think, which coming into it, everyone knew that Kentucky was bad at guarding the 1-5 backdoor. And he said going into that whole week that they knew that the tournament was coming up, that's the only defense. Well, not the only, but like that was their main focus was the 1-5 backdoor because that had been their Achilles heel the whole season, the 1-5 backdoor. And he said it went great. He said it went good. And just whenever it came to the game, he just said it's like they forgot everything. It's like they forgot everything they were taught. Which goes back to it being in the moment and those players that honestly look like freshmen out there. Just they crumbled. And Cal, I've been hard on him for the freshmen because of that very reason. But this year coming in with the juniors and stuff that know what the tournament's like, most of them at least know what the tournament's like, and them crumbling under pressure, it doesn't make me question Cal as a coach. It makes me question. It makes me. I don't know how to put it because it's gonna make me sound like I do question him. But like, when does it set in that you need to change the style that you're playing? Because obviously this team was good with the dribble drive, which is Cal's main offense. Dribble drive, dribble drive. When do you set up and say, hey, listen, we're going to work on maybe you put Lance Ware and Brooks in, both that can shoot the 3 at a decent rate, maybe a 5 out. Maybe a 1-2-2 with 2 in the corners, a double screen up top, and then drive and kick to one of the corners or take a layup. Or like the dribble drive in college basketball is just an outdated style to play basketball, and you see that with the results. With those results, so it's making me think of next year get the talent, but then change up how you're coaching them. Just change it up 1 year and just see if
Calipari
there's a
always
difference.
gets the talent.
Yeah, he gets the talent, no doubt. Even in the transfer pool this year, he got the talent. He got the greatest shooter, one of the greatest shooters to ever go to Rutgers. He got Oscar, who is the best rebounder in the country. Like, he got the talent this year, but they didn't fit his style of basketball.
But when you're a coach, do you not have to adapt to the team that you have?
You should, but I think instead of him trying to adapt to the team that he has, he's trying to make them adapt to his style. And I don't agree with that. And with freshmen, I think it could work better than with juniors that are already established that know how to play certain styles. And I just think, and don't get me wrong, Cal's very, very, like, he's a yeah, won national championship. Everyone talks about that when so many years of being there. But he has the most wins in the NCAA tournament as like a program since he's been there. He has the most Final Fours. So he has other accolades. Just that one national championship is always going to be a flaw on his resume that he doesn't have more. And I agree. I mean, is that a good look? No, that's not a good look. But do I think that he can? Do I think he can get more? Yes, I think he'll get more. I think he'll get plenty more if he decides to keep coaching. Like, whether it be here or whether it be wherever he wants to go. He was good at UMass. Him coming to Kentucky was great for the program. It elevated Kentucky basketball to something that it was with, like, Pitino and them. When Pitino was here, it was a winning mentality, and with like Cal taking over, the winning mentality is still here. Don't get me wrong, the results don't show it, but the mentality is still here. At the end of the day, you're a coach, and what do you want to do? You want to win at any cost. So
I'm looking at his stats as a coach, and this is like his in its entirety.
so like
His
UMass and
record,
everything.
yes, he has 810 wins, 241 losses. That's a 77 win percentage.
Yeah.
Wins 77% of the games all time. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. But I don't think he is as good of a coach as a lot of people make him out to be. And the reason for that is because this recent loss was a perfect example. And like we were just talking about, he doesn't adapt
Yeah.
to the players that he has on his roster.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to change them, and that's not how you play winning basketball.
Oh yeah, big time.
It's just not.
No.
It's just not. That's not what you do. Not just on the college level, but on any level.
Yeah.
If you're a good coach and you have a bunch of players that fit well in a certain type of system, what should you do? You should play that system.
Mm-hmm. And
So
in the year they won with Davis and all them, that Davis was a freak athlete. No one will attest to that. He was a freak of nature. He was a man playing amongst boys. He was, and that helped Kentucky. It really did. Without him being there, would they have won? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
without his defense, there's no question they would have lost.
Yeah. And Cal,
Because he didn't even score that many points, Davis, in
nope,
that finals game.
nope,
But he should have played defense.
exactly,
I remember watching that. I watched that game.
exactly. His job was to protect the rim at any cost, and he did. His energy was solely focused on defense, and the people that was around him was meant to score. And yeah, you could But you're not going to see another athlete like that. I don't think someone that can come in and be that dominant, unless next year and willing that Oscar, since he's only a junior, gets to stay and play another year, and hopefully this team decides, besides Grady, because Grady's graduate, he cannot come back, says, and Tata, he's probably going to go pro, says, hey, let's run it back. Let's try it again and run it back. And next year, I think if they come back and have that on their mind, that team is going to be a force to reckon with. And it would not surprise me if they lose maybe 2 games that whole season.
Think they're going to be that dominant, huh?
Oh, yeah. With that mentality coming back, oh, yeah. Because, I mean, you look at it. You look at the, what was that team? The Harrison Twins and them, when they come back, when they got put out the first round of the NIT, being the number 1 seed. And they come back that next year and ran through the NCAA tournament. Didn't win it, but they were dominant through that tournament.
Yep.
And I think you get those players with this mindset coming back. I think they will. And Cal not wanting to change up how he coaches, I think those players will come back and be like, okay, we'll do it your way. You know?
Yeah, but see, it shouldn't be like that.
No,
You use the tools that you have. You don't pick a hammer up and beat it into something else. It's a hunk of metal, a tool that you use to hammer things with.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't go outside and use a hammer to dig a hole.
That is true.
You know,
I mean,
I just don't understand why he doesn't use what he has, because he literally has the best tools he can possibly have. He gets all the best stock coming out of high school because he's the greatest recruiter I've ever seen.
oh yeah.
I'll give him that. He's the greatest recruiter in college basketball, and there's no question about that.
I think that's a program too, though. People here at Kentucky
Yeah,
basketball.
yes, I know it's a very esteemed college basketball program, one of the most esteemed, most well-known basketball programs in the entire country. But the players that they got before Calipari was there were not the same caliber of players that they got after he got there.
No, not at all. And I think
I'm looking at the roster from the championship team, 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, Deron Lamb, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, Terrence Jones, Marquise T, Darius Miller, Eloy Vargas, Sam Malone, Brian Long, Jared Paulson, Kwani Beckham, which
Paulson was a Kentucky kid.
Those guys, yeah. Says here he's from Wilmore, Kentucky. That's his hometown.
Yep.
These guys, like those top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oh 7, 7 of the guys from that roster made it to the NBA.
Yep.
Now, whether they're still there and playing on an NBA team, I don't know. Well, obviously Davis is. He's hurt right now. But he plays for the Lakers.
He's the only one playing, I think, because I don't think MKG is on the team anymore, and those were the only 2 left. Because Darius Miller was a couple years ago. But I think, like, obviously that team, you see those players coming in, like, extreme amounts of talent. Extreme amounts. But I think it also takes some players staying and them like, you need veterans on the team also. Veterans help. And I don't think the transfer portal is the way to get veterans because they don't know the program. They haven't been there. They don't know how Kentucky basketball works. And Mintz staying, yeah, he helped. He helped a lot, honestly. But I think you need more than just that. I think you need like 3 guys that would stay, honestly, all 4 years and be like, and teaching the new people that come in, like, hey, this is Kentucky basketball. This is how we play here. This is how we're going to win here.
Well, see, that's the thing though, is these really talented players tend to not stay
Oh, yeah.
all 4 years. They go to the league because
They're good.
they see the dollar signs.
I don't blame
And
them.
why would they not?
I mean,
Right.
I don't blame them. I 100% agree with that. I'll like if you can further your career in any way, shape, or form, go do it. Honestly, go more power to you. Go to the NBA. But like the Harrison twins, when they stayed, like they they were gonna be lottery picks. I think at least one of them was gonna be, and they decided to come back and play. And I mean, their careers obviously didn't work out because I don't think either one of them are on an NBA team anymore. But
I don't believe so either.
But still, you see those players and you're like, hey, they came back. Let's go there so they can teach me because they were already like I said, lottery picks. It would look attractive to a younger player being like, oh, they're lottery picks, and they decided to come back because they got faith that they could do better the next season. Let me go there and learn like what their mindset is basically.
Well, the thing is that when you look back at college basketball, all the great players that came through and dominated and won all kinds of championships for their schools,
Mm-hmm.
that was a different world
Oh yeah.
because kids brought up today, these young talented basketball players, they watch ESPN, they hear about these $1 million contracts,
Mm-hmm.
they see these NBA players strolling around in $1,000 suits, $1,000 watch on their wrist,
Yep.
$1,000 shoes on their feet. They see all that and they're like, man, I want that. I want to
Mm-hmm.
be that guy. I want that money.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
want to make it to the league.
Pretty sure the average salary for a top 3 pick is like $3 million guaranteed. I'm pretty sure.
And see it, the league wasn't a moneymaker like it is now back in the day. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like in the time of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the most dominant college basketball players ever.
Oh yeah.
He's in the top 3.
He's like Shaq.
Shaq.
Dominant.
Let's see who else. Who else was really dominant in college? Pistol Pete was great.
Yeah.
He played for LSU as well.
Mm-hmm.
There have been Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Him.
Look what he did for Wake Forest.
Yeah. I mean, look
And
at
he's
Jimmer for that. Gordon Hayward when Gordon Hayward, had it all the way down to that
yep.
last shot.
Yep.
And I mean, there's some of the best basketball players you could watch.
But I mean, like, I'm saying back in the day, these older players from the past,
oh yeah,
they weren't looking at the league like players are looking at the league today. They were looking at it and seeing those dollar signs. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I don't know how much money that man made in his career, but I guarantee you that he made just a fraction of what some bench player on the Philadelphia 76ers is making today.
Oh yeah, like Luke Kennard.
And he's Kareem Abdul. Exactly.
God.
Luke Kennard.
$60 million.
He's already.
God. To shoot threes.
I want to. Hold on. I gotta see how much money Kareem made because I'm curious now.
But Luke's contract was, I think, 3 years, $60 million, just to shoot. No defense, just to shoot the ball. So I mean, you come in as a sniper in college. Who knows? You might see those numbers too. And I understand it big time. But we're gonna let you find these numbers, and we're gonna close it out here because we're running a little long.
All right, so here
Mm-hmm.
it's saying his net worth is $20 million, and it says when he was drafted in 1969 by Milwaukee, that first contract that he got was 1.4 million. So that's quite a bit. That's more than I expected. But that's not nothing today for an NBA player.
The number one pick,
1.4 million.
the number one pick gets like a $5 million guaranteed now, unless it raised from the CBA.
That is ludicrous.
Yeah.
That is
But
absolutely insane.
back then, that 1.4 million. Now, what would it have been?
True. Obviously, the value of money has changed
Yeah.
quite a bit since then. But what I was getting at with my point was people just don't stay anymore. I don't think young players today care enough about winning to stay at a college program and get chips there. They want to go make that money. They don't want to win the college chips. Now, if it was me, the way I'm built, I'm cut from a different cloth, man. I want to win.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get your bread. You're gonna get that money. Let's win. I wanna be great. I wanna be the best that I can be. I want people to know my name.
Exactly.
Just like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I know that's what his mindset was. He said, I want to be great. I want to be the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
I will be the greatest.
Yeah.
And what did he become? The greatest.
Exactly.
The all-time leading scorer in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Even though LeBron's getting ready to pass him. But
it's someone who's just built different, though.
Kareem has had that record for a very long time.
Yep. And it's just a record it's a record. Records are meant to be broken, and who knows? In the next 20 years, someone else might be up there trying to catch it too. Who knows what those numbers could go to?
True.
All right. But with that being said, guys, we're going to log off here. Hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. We'll see you all in the next one. Thank y'all for watching.
Adios.